The garage door sticks in the summer heat, the same way it has for 11 years, and you have to lift it with your shoulder instead of the button because you never fixed the sensor. Your neighbor Dale is out there polishing a leased BMW X5, the payment on it $743 a month, and he waves at you like he always does, like you're just the guy in the faded green Civic who mows his own lawn on Saturdays. He has no idea. Nobody on Maple Court has any idea. The number sitting in your Schwab account after this morning's market close is $4,014,220. You checked it standing in your kitchen at 6:47 a.m. Coffee in a chipped mug that says, "World's Okayest Dad," a gift from your daughter in 3rd grade. You close the app. You went to work. You are 41 years old. You drive a car with 138,000 miles on it. You have wondered, more than once, standing in that garage, what it would feel like to just say it out loud to someone, anyone, and watch their face change. You have never done it. Not once. Not to Dale. Not to your brother. Not even to your wife's sister at Thanksgiving when she made a comment about how you two must be struggling because you skipped the family trip to Cabo. You let her think it. You passed the mashed potatoes. You said nothing because saying nothing is the only skill that actually built the number in the first place. You grew up in Dayton, Ohio, in a rented duplex on Findlay Street where the heat clicked on and off unevenly, and your mother worked the overnight shift at a Kroger distribution center for $11.40 an hour. Your father was gone by the time you were 6, and what you remember most from those years is not the leaving, it's the waiting. Waiting for the check, waiting to see if there was enough for the light bill and groceries in the same week. You remember your mother sitting at the kitchen table with a calculator, the blue glow of the screen on her face at 11 p.m., moving numbers around like puzzle pieces that never quite fit. You were 9 years old, and you understood, in a way children aren't supposed to understand things, that money wasn't about having it. It was about the terror of not having it, and how that terror could live inside a person for decades, even after the danger passed. You got your first job at 16, bagging groceries at the same Kroger, $5.15 an hour, and you opened your first savings account with $60 because the branch manager, a woman named Ruth Calloway, told you that compound interest was the only thing in this world that worked while you slept. You didn't fully understand her, but you believed her, the way you believe a teacher who seems tired of lying to children and has decided, just this once, to tell you something true. By 24, you were an electrical engineer at a mid-sized firm in Columbus, salary $58,000, and you did something almost nobody in your building did. You kept living like you made $34,000. You drove a used Corolla. You split an apartment with a coworker named Marcus Webb for 4 years, splitting a $980 rent 2 ways, and Marcus used to tease you, not unkindly, that you had old man money habits. You put 22% of every paycheck into a 401k and a Roth IRA before you touched a dollar of it for anything else. Nobody saw that decision. There was no audience for it. That's the part nobody tells you about building real wealth. The decisions that matter most are always made in empty rooms. You married Elena when you were 29. She was a labor and delivery nurse making $71,000 a year at Riverside Methodist. And on your 3rd date, at a diner off High Street, you told her the truth about money before you told her almost anything else. You told her your number goals, your fear of debt, the calculator at the kitchen table in Dayton. She didn't flinch. She ordered a second cup of coffee and said, "Good, I hate people who spend like they're trying to prove something." That sentence is still, 17 years later, one of the most romantic things anyone has ever said to you. The two of you built the number slowly, the unglamorous way. Index funds, mostly. A rental duplex in Whitehall you bought in 2014 for $89,000 that now brings in $1,650 a month after the mortgage was paid off in 2021. You never chased anything. While Dale next door leveraged himself into a boat he uses 4 times a year, you and Elena kept driving cars until the transmissions gave out. While co-workers upgraded to 5-bedroom colonials in New Albany, you stayed in the same 1,700 square foot house on Maple Court, the one with the sticking garage door, because the mortgage was $1,140 a month and paid off entirely by year 14. Here is what almost nobody sees. In 2016, your firm went through layoffs, and you watched a man named Greg Anders, 48 years old, 22 years at the company, walk out with a cardboard box and a look on his face like the floor had opened beneath him. Greg had made more money than you every single year. Greg also had a boat, a lake house in Put-in Bay, and $340,000 in credit card and HELOC debt that nobody at the company knew about until his wife mentioned it, crying, in the break room to a woman who told everyone. You went home that night and didn't say a word to Elena about being scared. You just quietly increased your investment contribution by another 3%. That's the whole story of how people like you get rich. Nobody claps, nobody notices. You just adjust one number slightly, over and over, for 20 years. While everyone around you is doing something louder. There is a loneliness in this that nobody prepares you for. Not the loneliness of having no one. You have Elena, you have your 2 kids, you have people who love you completely. It's a quieter loneliness. The loneliness of standing in a room full of people complaining about gas prices and rent increases, knowing you could write a check that would erase every financial fear in that room, and saying nothing, because saying something would change every relationship you have. It would change how your brother looks at you when he asks for a loan for the 4th time. It would change how your kids' friends' parents talk to you at the soccer game. It would change the easy, unremarkable way Dale waves at you over the fence. Wealth, held quietly, is one of the last truly private things a person can own in America. And you have learned the hard way, watching what happened to 2 different friends who let their numbers slip out. One lost a friendship, the other got asked for money every Christmas for a decade. That privacy isn't secrecy, it's protection. Elena asked you once on the back porch, glass of wine in hand, watching the kids catch fireflies in mason jars, whether you ever wanted to just tell people. Just once. Just to see what it felt like. You thought about it for a long time before answering. You told her no. Not because you were ashamed of it, and not because you didn't trust people, but because the version of your life you built, the quiet one, the one where Dale still waves at you like you're just the guy in the Civic, is the only version where you actually get to know if people love you for you. The moment the number becomes visible, you can never fully trust another compliment, another invitation, another kind word again. You would rather be underestimated for the rest of your life than spend even 1 year wondering if someone's smile has a price tag behind it. Your daughter is 14 now. Last month she asked you, half joking, why you still drive that old car when her friend's dad drives a Tesla. You didn't lecture her. You didn't explain net worth or compound interest or Ruth Calloway from the Kroger branch on 3rd Street. You just told her that some things are worth more when no one else can see them, and you let her sit with that the way you once sat with a sentence you didn't fully understand at 16 years old, trusting that one day it would make sense. The garage door still sticks. You still lift it with your shoulder every morning, because fixing it would mean calling someone, and calling someone would mean explaining why a man with $4,014,220 in a brokerage account still has a garage door from 2015. You have never explained it. You never will. Dale is out there again this Saturday, waxing the BMW, and he waves, and you wave back, and for 1 second, just one, you feel the entire weight of the number sitting silently behind your eyes, not as pride, not as fear, but as something closer to grief for the person who used to sit at a kitchen table in Dayton watching his mother do math that never worked. You go inside. Elena is making coffee. The kids are still asleep. Nobody on this street will ever know what you're worth. And that, quietly, unglamorously, without a single witness, is the whole point.